What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. We are back. Tottenham against Leeds match preview. And we have got our resident Leeds fan, Scott. Leeds home and away. Scott, how are we doing today, mate?
Not bad. Nice to be here with you guys. How you doing?
Great to have you. Great to have you.
Surely there's no animosity in the ranks, because we did relegate you a couple of years back.
Wow. I mean,
you can't return the favour this year, man. Don't return the favour.
I'd argue it wasn't you that relegated us. It was playing 6 centre-backs most games in that run-in and going through 3 different managers. But, yeah, to be honest, I don't think Leeds fans, I was saying to you before, I don't think they really hold Tottenham as the team that relegated them. Obviously, that was the game. But I think most people knew going into that game there was no chance. Like, it was a long shot anyway, and we should have beat Newcastle a couple of weeks before. Bamford missed a penalty. Then we should have beat West Ham, but we got absolutely battered, and then ended up losing to Tottenham 4-1.
What a season you're having this season, you know. It's been a crazy season for Leeds, because they're now, I mean, still not mathematically safe, but
no.
You know, in a good position. Cast your mind back to, what was it, November time, December time. Daniel Farke was a week away from the sack. They said he needed to get points out of Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yep.
He ended up getting, I think, 4 points out of those 3 games. And against Man City, they came back from 2-0 down. And since then, you've just kicked on, haven't you? What do you think he's changed in you know, from how you started the season, when he was on the brink of a sack, to now, where you're almost safe?
Well, it was just that bravery to change it. Obviously, the change of formation is the obvious way to look at it. We went 2 to 5 back at half-time in that Man City game. Came out, completely dominated them. If it wasn't for a Phil Foden last-minute goal after Donnarumma was injured, went down, and they all got a load of tactics from Pep Guardiola. But and then just the belief coming out of how we played in that half, beating Chelsea the way we did, Tanaka with that beautiful goal, and then Calvert-Lewin springing into form. But yeah, you got to give credit to Daniel Farke for being brave enough to do that. It was something, I think maybe he got a little bit of criticism from Leeds fans for not changing things around, leaving substitutions late, like always getting to at least the 60th, 70th minute before he made any subs. And that drastic change completely switched our season around, and Calvert-Lewin finding form gave us the points we needed to start to build momentum.
There was that little period in the season just before that win at Old Trafford where you're thinking no wins in 6 or 7, was it?
It was.
And you're thinking, are Leeds going to drop back into this?
Yeah, we went about 4 or 5 games without even scoring a goal. But we were still, I mean, we drew 0-0 at Palace, and we had a dodgy red card with Goodmanson that we got an apology for after he served the suspension, so what was the point? But and then we had the other 0-0 draw where Brentford just set up brilliantly against us and sat back. So it wasn't, the worry was not scoring the goals and Calvert-Lewin not having the form, but we were always creating the chances, and with the FA Cup games either side of that, where we battered Norwich and whatnot, it didn't feel as bad as it probably was on paper in the Premier League. But the worry did start to creep back in. When you're a Leeds fan, the worry's always going to be there until it's mathematically safe.
Because we do a stream with Wolfie, who's a Nottingham Forest fan, and Nicky, who's a West Ham fan. And just before you played Man United, we were all discussing it. And us and Nicky, the West Ham fan, were like, you know what, don't discount Leeds from this relegation zone. We were like, you know, Leeds are the ones that could go down here because of the form that they're on. Obviously, Spurs were still on dreadful form, but we were backing Spurs to turn it around at that point. And then you got that win at Old Trafford, and you've just kicked on from there, haven't you? And it's just been fantastic performance after fantastic performance. And you can say what you want about not being mathematically safe, but you're safe now.
Yeah, I mean, spot on, really, because just before that game, you're looking at the upcoming fixtures and you're thinking, realistically, of all the times to suddenly get something at Old Trafford, you're hoping it would be a game against Amarim with, like, we missed a chance by not playing them last year, and obviously we go up and do that performance. No one expected that. So that's what I was saying, sort of in my head. I always said it was that Tottenham game. After that is when I feel comfortable, we're safe. We've then got that kind of bonus of those extra 3 points against Man United that we weren't really expecting. So now we're coming to the Tottenham one, like you say, we're pretty much safe now. We don't need to stress, we don't need to worry. Like, look at the form. It's not going to happen. But
it's true, but if let's say going into this game, West Ham win against Arsenal on Sunday, obviously we play on a Monday night, is all of a sudden, are you slightly, does the game have more importance for you then? If West Ham do win, all of a sudden the gap is then 4 points, and you have West Ham to play as well.
Yeah.
Or, like, if you're looking at that situation going into the game on Monday, Like, does the game have heightened importance? Are you starting to get a bit worried if West Ham do win that game?
I think the worry is kind of there regardless. With Leeds fans, they've been through so much, all the stuff that it'd be, the old saying, it would be Leeds to do that. No team in a 38-game Premier League season has been relegated on 43 points. It would be very Leeds United to become the first. But I think if we're not mathematically safe, the kind of fear that might be there is going to be there regardless on Monday. And I guess, I mean, Tottenham have been playing well, played really well last game. I was here watching it, wasn't I? And it was the kind of performance that if we weren't in the position we would be, it would start to worry you a little bit even more. But with West Ham playing how poorly they did last week and their fixture list looking tough, it's always going to be in our own hands because we've still got to play West Ham as well, like you say. So I don't think it would ramp up their fear at all. I just think it would. The importance will be the same regardless of how they play and their result, as long as it's not mathematically safe.
We did get a bit of a favour in that game from Unai Emery, resting a few players, and they just didn't seem on it. Obviously, big up to Unai Emery and Aston Villa reaching the Europa League final. I want to say a big congratulations to them. But fully deserved. Is there a case, though, if West Ham do lose to Arsenal, is there a chance of Leeds just calming down a little bit? Because you're playing at 1,000,000 miles an hour in these games. It's like you're blowing teams away inside the first 20, 25 minutes. Like, you've got to calm down a little bit coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Honestly, at this point, I can't see that happening. I think, obviously, we have a very poor record in London anyway, especially previously. When we first got promoted under Marcelo Bielsa, we didn't even have a win in London. Like, our terrible form there, and obviously bad memories from the last time we went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 3-2 up with about 8 minutes to go, and Bentancur decided to score a double.
That was a great game.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for me, but that was an interesting one. So the fear of London, I think, is not necessarily the fear, just the fact of playing in London never seems to go our way. But I think it just depends. If you start with the same intensity and the same pressing, you'll probably force some mistakes from the back line. Like Struijk, he's had a bit of criticism from these fans, perhaps unfairly. I think you've got to give him his credit where he's due. And I'm not going to say I'm not someone who hasn't criticised him, because I have. But he is a phenomenal player. But when he gets under that pressure, sometimes he's a bit too casual on the ball and can lose it. He was unfortunately the one who made the sort of first mistake at Chelsea for their goal at Wembley. In the FA Cup semi-final. But so that sort of thing, the pressure could start to get a bit of fear into Leeds fans. But I don't know. It would depend on if you start with the same high intensity that you did against Aston Villa, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the player making the real difference at the moment is Noah Okafor, isn't it? Like, he's scored 8 goals all season, 4 of those coming in the last 5 games or something like that. Like, where has this come from Noah Okafor? Like, he was always seen as maybe he flopped at AC Milan, really, and
Napoli,
he's coming.
Napoli,
and he went on loan to Napoli, didn't do too great. He's coming to Leeds, and nobody. I don't think many people. I don't know what the feeling was inside the Leeds fan base, but first half of the season, I don't think anyone was talking about him too much.
I think it was always, he had a little injury problem as well along the way, but I think it was always a bit like you kind of want a bit more from him, kind of bigger name than usual coming to Leeds. And he's, like you say, he's got European pedigree and whatnot, but he just wasn't quite. I don't think he ever really had that manager that kind of believed in him, got the best out of him. And he's played up front, he's played on the wing, he's been around at the different clubs he's been at. And I think this kind of 5-back system with the 2 strikers where he can sort of play off of Calvert-Lewin and go drop wide when he wants, kind of had a bit more freedom. It's just worked a treat for him. He can sneak in at that back post.
So he does. He's only finished, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
The far corner
those instinct finishes are fantastic, and his quality is there to see. He's obviously got the quality, but maybe it's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of belief he needed from a manager that hasn't quite been there. And now he's got a solid run in the team. He's proven his quality, but. Yeah.
That's a good point, Okafor, because in terms of him playing up front, because I think his other clubs he's been playing on the wing, hasn't he? And so he's kind of found a new position, and maybe that's given him that little bit of freedom to actually get into the box and score more goals than before.
Yeah, I think the problem with him is it's kind of been a chop and change. Like one season he's playing up front, then someone comes in, he's moving out to the wide and whatnot. And while it's a good trait to have, I think he might have even, I might be wrong on this, but I think he came out and said he prefers playing as a striker. And we were playing him as a left winger at the start of the season. And he was doing okay. He was having, you could see his quality, like I said before, but he wasn't quite having the impact in terms of goals and assists that he is now. But then again, no one really was besides Calvert-Lewin popping up the goals. We were creating the chances, and no one was tucking them in. But yeah, I think that role suits him to a T. So it'd be interesting to see next season if we stick with the 5 back and that formation, what happens with him.
Another player who's made such a big difference for Leeds this year is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You know, you kind of forget he's only 29 years of age. And I thought he was a lot older than that because he's been off the ball for so long. He hasn't had a top season, for 5 years now. And now he's back.
He had one top season in his career.
He scored 16 that season for Everton, and the year before that he scored 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's had a couple of good seasons for Everton.
But he was always injury played and whatnot. And he still wasn't as good as Patrick Bamford back then.
He had like 4 poor seasons in a row for Everton. Everyone's like, this guy's finished, this guy's washed. And he's gone to Leeds and he's really kind of reborn.
Now he's England's number 9 again.
Is he going to the World Cup?
Well, this is the thing. If you look at it, who's ahead of him? So you've got obviously Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Watkins, Solanke. I think he's been better than Solanke. Probably deserves a spot over him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue for
And
most
injury
better than
problems anyway.
Watkins.
Watkins, exactly. For most of the season in terms of goal contribution, he's up there. And then there's obviously Danny Welbeck comes into the debate, but he's not been looked at by Tuchel for. So there's a chance to. My gut's saying he won't be, but I'd love to see him there.
Do you think, as an England fan, do you think you would take him?
I think it would be great to see him there. You've got to take him. He offers something different. And, I mean,
As a neutral, would you take him?
as a
You want what's
neutral,
best for England,
I
don't you?
mean, he did wear England's number 9 a few weeks back, but no, honestly, I think Solanke's had injury problems and whatnot, and we're very fortunate Calvert-Lewin hasn't, because he's so played with injuries throughout his career.
Who's the last Leeds player that went to? It must have been Calvin Phillips, right? The last Leeds player that went to an international tournament.
Calvin Phillips went, and then Bamford got
For England, you mean?
Bamford got 45 minutes of football, and he was terrible and never played again for England. But that wasn't at a tournament. So Calvert-Lewin was at that one as well, the Euros. But he was, I don't know if he might have made one appearance, but.
Did you want Calvert-Lewin? Like, were you excited when you signed him, or were you one of those like, oh my god, why are we getting this wash striker?
I think the thing was we signed Metcher and Calvert-Lewin both on a free transfer, and you're thinking there's probably like one other big signing coming in here, and at the time you're thinking probably a bit harsh on Joel Piroux, who was our top scorer last season. He actually ended up being our top scorer for the whole calendar year, despite not scoring after about April when he got 4 against Stoke. But and you've kind of felt like, oh, maybe he deserves a chance, but he's not really been any good at all this year. And then you're thinking there's probably one more marquee striker coming in, and it never happened. And you're just worrying at the start about Calvert-Lewin's fitness, his injury, his lack of game time. And obviously when it came to the 5-back, and I think the first game we actually had Metcher and Calvert-Lewin both up there, and you suddenly thought this is the start of a new partnership. And Calvert-Lewin went on his run, but Metcher's been a good second choice and Calvert-Lewin's been a first choice. So yeah, I was more concerned about him being our only starter, but turns out it worked a treat, and he's been fully fit and he offers so much more than just the goals.
I want to ask you about this. I've been talking to Sim about this all season when we do our prediction shows, right? Leeds under the lights, midweek or a Friday night, wherever it may be, at Ellen Road. It's mad, isn't it? Because you always just seem to get a firing start. You batter teams there when you play mid. What is it about that place? And by the way, that shithousery the other night with Smooth Criminal against Burnley
that was
top
when it
quality.
came on. So I was there, and at the end of the game, I'm starting to walk out, and I was suddenly like, why are they playing this? Like something like I Predict Right or something. And I was trying to work out, then suddenly rose Michael Jackson. Absolutely brilliant, just nailing the coffin for the Burnley fans. But yeah, it's just different under the lights. I don't know, the crowd get behind you.
Are you unbeaten under the lights this season?
There was a thing about not just this scene, but Daniel Farke being unbeaten under the lights after a certain time. And we lost one, which was I can't remember who it was against now, but it was actually a slightly earlier kickoff. It was about 6:30.
So
it was
8 o'clock.
It was like I think it was
no beating
anything 7:45 or later. I think Daniel Farke is still unbeaten under the lights at Ellen Road, which
Like
is
a
quite
werewolf or
impressive.
I want to know the results under the lights away from home. That's what I want to know this weekend.
Not quite the same, especially like London anyway. But it'll be interesting. It feels better in a night game, doesn't it? It always does for Leeds fans anyway. A long way to travel for most of the Leeds fans down to London.
Monday night as well. Difficult to get home and everything like that.
Exactly, but they'll be there in their voices, and I don't know. I've got a good feeling, just partly because it's a late game.
You confident?
I don't know. I'm slightly confident. I think we've just been building up, and starting to take those chances recently that if we get on the front foot early enough and create down those with the fullbacks bombing forward, will cause problems, because I mean, teams have caused problems to Spurs all season. I think I saw a stat that at one point he made the most what's it called, individual errors leading to chances and shots on goal. And we were actually,
we dominate that every year.
I think that's dried up under Zahavi though.
It might. Yeah, this was before Zahavi came in. I saw it, and I think we were in the bottom 3 of that, which is just that's been a big part of our. Despite not keeping so many clean sheets as we like, in terms of defensive solidarity, it was more being torn apart by players and making our own mistakes. And West Ham were down there as well, but
I think
we can take advantage of that.
XG conceded over since the Zerbi's come in, we're second least and you're the least.
Yeah.
So we're both being. This is actually the 2 current best defences over the last 2 games coming up.
Crazy.
No, I never would have said that at the start of the season.
But you can't envisage this game being 0-0. That's why the game will not be 0-0.
And us and Forest are up there in the latest form as well.
The form team in the league, I think Leeds are top.
I think it was us first and Forest third, maybe, or something from last I checked.
I think you're on your crazy form. What is your, like, if you were to do a predicted lineup for Leeds for Monday night, what would it be?
I mean, it depends on the fitness of Goodmanson. I'm going to assume he's not fit. Daniel Farker's going to talk on it more today, I believe. But so it'll be Darlow in goal, Bogle, Strauch, Biol, and Rodon with James Justin as the left wing back. He's been fantastic signing. All the Leicester fans laughed at us, saying absolute steal, getting all that money for him and whatnot, and saying he was rubbish, he's going to sit on the bench. He's been phenomenal in every role he's played this season. Yeah, now they're in League One.
I thought he was quite good, just injuries held him back.
Yeah, and he's just been brilliant. And then in midfield it'll be Ampadu, who's easily our most vital player.
Yeah.
Like he might not be the best, he might not get the most like credit, but we're such a different team without him in there. And then it'll be Tanaka alongside him, I assume. Maybe Brendan Aronson, but I believe Stack's injured at the moment.
See, that's big.
That's quite important. Because he scored last week, didn't he?
He went off injured in that game, didn't he? Or is he back? No, yeah, he is back. Sorry. Yeah, he did
get injured. He got a bad ankle injury. I can't remember who was against. And then there was rumours he'd be out for the season.
He must be.
So he played 72 minutes.
It's Gruev who's out for the season. Yeah, it's Gruev who's out for the season with a knee injury. Stack's back. Yeah, okay, I think
that's not good.
Yeah, it'll probably be Stack and Tanaka in there then, and then Okafor, Calvert-Lewin. But I don't know. You never know.
5-3-2.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same team we played at Burnley. But you never know when he's going to bring Aronson back in and whatnot. I think with the intensity of the game, it's probably leans in favour of Farker picking Aronson, so it will be him over Tanaka probably. But
so what kind of team would you like say Leeds are? Because they're known for like these fast starts, blowing teams away in the first 20 minutes recently anyway.
Yeah.
Getting lots of early goals. They did a couple at Old Trafford.
I don't think that's how Leeds fans would describe us.
But yeah, I'd say as an overall, like once that first half an hour's up, then you seem to drop back a bit when you've got that lead. So like, what should Tottenham fans expect from Leeds, do you think, when you come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Monday?
I think, like you say, it kind of all depends on the start of the game, how we start and how intense you guys are at the start. Because we've had those periods where we've been coming out of the blocks. I mean, we went 2-0 up against West Ham, 2-0 up against Manchester United, and both times it kind of fell apart. And even like you say at Burnley, went 3-0 up, and then suddenly look a bit dodgy. They score. They could have had 2, and you suddenly just start to get nervy again. Like
Wolves as well.
Wolves. Every game where we went for a long period where we go 2-0 up, and then suddenly it looks like it's all going to fall apart again. It was nice to have that one the opposite way around against Bournemouth, where we nicked it last minute through long stuff. But I think you can expect us to come up in the front foot, playing with those fullbacks, getting forward, and it's just about whether we can get in behind and how tight you're. I think a lot of the games for Leeds this season have been kind of won and lost in the midfield. When because we had a strong midfield from the players we signed from the off, and the rotation of Gruev and Tanaka coming in as well has helped a lot. And once we win that kind of midfield battle, we're off to the fire. So it kind of, I think, could be won there against Tottenham, because, like I said, I think you'll come with the same intensity you did against Villa. It's about how the two defences hold up, really. Do you like to play out the back, short build up, or do you not shy going direct? We're certainly, since the 5-back, we're not shy going direct at all, and that's why like Calvert-Lewin had so much more to his game in terms of the hold up play, winning those battles, and just being a nuisance, really, and even a bit like the kind of thing Harry Kane always gets credited for, actually, of being in his own box, winning those headers. I think he's had about 3 cleared off the line in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I've actually
just from
noticed
corners,
that.
and it's like just that extra stuff that kind of goes unnoticed if you're not watching Leeds week in, week out. But yeah, we mix it up a little bit, really. We try and play some good football, but a lot of it will be looking up, try and find Calvert-Lewin and playing off
It's
around
going to be
him.
a big physical battle between like Calvert-Lewin and Kevin Danso. You know,
Yeah.
obviously both of them very good in the air.
Yeah, I think it's about how he occupies one of the centre half. So he can kind of pull Danso, let's say it is marking him out of the game. It allows that space for Okafor or even Brendan Aronson to do driving runs and kind of get him behind.
Well, how they line up, I think Okafor likes to go to the left a bit more, so it might be Van de Ven up against Calvert-Lewin.
I think he'll prefer that.
Yeah.
He'll prefer coming up against Van de Ven more than Danso.
Yeah, probably, because I mean it's going to be a physical battle either way because Calvert-Lewin will make it into one. But yeah, it will depend. I think Danso would kind of had the beating of Okafor if it wasn't for someone occupying his mind. So if he can kind of play in between the two and give Okafor that more freedom.
Tell Calvert-Lewin
Could
to
be
do his hair,
dangerous.
to cut his hair this week. We don't want any hair pulling or anything like that.
Absolute tugger. He could have pulled his hair out. Like, honestly,
Ridiculous.
should have been banned for
Oh,
longer.
God. Did you see that one last week?
I did.
Oh
yeah,
my
absolutely
days!
nothing
What
in
was
it.
that about?
Nothing in it.
Where would you say Leeds get got at the most? Where, like, recently? We actually got at all, but
Well,
where would you say, like, your biggest like weakness or biggest flaw?
I think there are times, particularly in the first half of the season, where Gabriel Goodmanson got a bit of stick for not getting back in time. And credit to him, he's been really good, especially going forward. And I think he's been one of our best signings this season. I think that's now a common theme among Leeds fans. But he did get a bit of stick for a while, kind of when we were losing games of leaving those gaps and Strout kind of being a bit exploited, having maybe two men to kind of pick up and whatnot. Whereas like on the other side, it was being covered up better by Rodon and Justin when Bogle was going forward and Bogle was coming back. They were there. It kind of helps having maybe more of a right back in Justin there sometimes. But so I think in between that kind of area between the left wing back, which will be Justin likely on Monday, and Strout, that's kind of where there's a chance to kind of get in there if your wing
where
play.
Marnie is.
Yeah,
Great,
I mean, if you
Brilliant.
think back to the first game, that's pretty much exactly where Tell got his goal from, isn't it? And the other one.
Yeah,
Both of
you're
them
right,
were cutting
you're
in
right,
from
you're
that
right.
side.
Yeah,
Kudus
exactly,
came
that
in,
end,
didn't
yeah.
he? I think he left Schalke on the
A
floor.
lot has changed since then. To be
Yeah,
fair.
that's
We had
true.
a different manager.
But-
You were pretty much a different team.
I think
at
that
point.
was around the time where they were getting the stick for that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So that's kind of an area where there's a chance to get in. But like I say, if you dominate the midfield, then the more chances you get, we're bound to concede. We don't keep many clean sheets.
Can't we just say, you know, West Ham to lose, you're mathematically safe, we beat you, at the end of the game, have a nice staying up party all together. I think that's the thing that
To be honest,
can align with everyone.
if we are mathematically safe come Monday, I don't think many of the fans will be that bothered about watching the football in the stadium. To be honest, it will just be a massive promotion party, not promotion, survival
Staying,
party,
yeah.
as you say. But I don't know. I think you lot are going to be nervous all the way until the end of the season now, aren't
Yeah,
you?
of course. But I think if we win this game, assuming West Ham are dropping points against Arsenal, then I think we got 1 foot in safety. I really do.
Yeah.
But how do you see it? Like now, from an outside looking in, with De Zerbi's come in now, obviously 2 wins on the bounce. Do you
Yeah.
think Spurs are going to do it, or do you still think we're in big trouble?
Watching that game against Villa, I know, like you said already, the kind of favours of the lineup. The performance was good. The intensity was good. Like you were saying, Conor Gallagher proved like that's kind of what he was signed for.
Yeah.
Everything he did in that game, and if you can keep that kind of performance, then you'll be all right. But the problem with Spurs a lot this season is when they go 1-0 down, or when they get hit early, and they just seem to fall apart a little bit from what I've seen. And West Ham, they keep fighting, even though they might not have been playing as well necessarily as the teams around them, like us and Forest, for the majority of the season. They just keep fighting, and you feel like you can never count West Ham out. But when Spurs were going behind, you sort of went, that's it for them now.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, if I was to give you guys a scenario, if we go 1-0 up, say in the first 10-15 minutes, what would the atmosphere suddenly become like, and what is the situation going to be for your players? Do you think they'll start to fall into
it'll
bad
be
habits?
different. I think the fans. The fans are showing resilience right now and backing
Yeah.
the team till the end. But I don't think we've gone, apart from the Sunderland game, we haven't gone behind under De Zerbi yet. And that Sunderland game was the first one, so it's hard to really say. But all season, once we've gone down, we've completely, like you said, like we've completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen it under De Zerbi, and I think it'll be different at home. I think under the lights, I think it's going to be a big atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Monday night. So, look, I've always said in these last 3 games, the first goal is vitally important for Tottenham, because what we've seen all season is that when we go behind, we fall apart. I don't think we fell apart against Sunderland. I think it was a very even game, and they scored like a massive deflection. So, under De Zerbi, I don't think we've actually deserved to lose any game as of yet, but we haven't deserved to win many games either. But we showed a big performance against Brighton at home a couple of weeks ago, got pegged back in the last minute, big performance at Villa Park. So those 2 performances are probably up there with our 2 best performances of the season.
Definitely the Villa ones.
So I'm going into it confident. I am going, but the first goal is definitely vital, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, well, we panic more when we go 2-0 up. So if we go 2-0 up, then I'll start to panic. But yeah, it's interesting you say, because those performances, even the Sunderland one, you still noticed it slightly from my memory of it. Of when they scored, it's just the heads dropping and the little bit of. But he's had time to work with them now, and I think that's where a player like Conor Gallagher is so vital.
I think there's a different belief in the camp now, though. I really believe that.
Yeah, you got to believe it, because otherwise it's just not going to look very good.
Score prediction?
I don't like predicting scores. Honestly, I think both teams are definitely going to score. I can put some money on that. I'd say it's going to go 2-1 probably either way. I think we might edge you 2-1.
You're going to edge it, so you're going for Leeds to get the first goal.
I think so. Yeah, I think it'll be 2-1 either way.
You're going to be there.
I will be there.
I'll wave to you from the away end, mate. But yeah, I think both of us in our predictions both gone 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah,
I'll be waving up when we're 3-0 up in the last minute.
3-0 you going for now? You start showing a bit of chest now.
You're not getting away. No, I think 2-1 either way, and I do think we'll come away 2-1 winners.
All right, brilliant, Scott.
It's been a
pleasure to have you
Thanks
on, mate.
for coming on, Scott.
Pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure.
I hope you don't have that smile on your face on Monday night. Let's hope so.
I'll be cooling in.
Big up to you, Scott. Thanks for coming on. All right, big up to Scott, people. Big up. 2-1 to Leeds. I'm not sure about that, but thank you for coming on. We've got a lot more to get through today. We're going to go straight in to a Tottenham update. Florian Plettenberg has been speaking on a few Tottenham-related matters. First up on Sebastian Kehl, saying that Borussia Dortmund and Sebastian Kehl have agreed now on a termination of his contract, which was running till 2027. According to Bild, the severance package is around 1.5 million. Tottenham do remain keen, but no decision yet. I mean, this just feels like it's going to happen.
I don't understand. I thought he left already.
I think he left, but he might still be on gardening leave or something like that.
I mean, it doesn't excite me, to be honest, from what I've read about him. He doesn't seem like a guy who's ready to take Tottenham, in terms of restructure our recruitment, get the right people in. Dortmund fans don't seem that bothered about him. They seem to think he did a bad job, to be honest. Obviously, there are other names in the hat, which we were talking about, Dougie Freedman being one. They seem to be better fits for me than Sebastian Kehl. Obviously, if he does get the job, we'll see how he does, and I'll judge him based on how he does rather than before. But it just doesn't excite me. Like him and Lang together.
It's interesting though, because like when De Zerbi came in, we did hear that De Zerbi's going to have a say on who the sporting director is.
Yeah.
So if De Zerbi has had a say and he has alignment with Kehl, then maybe it's not too much of an issue.
Hopefully not.
I hope it has come under the recommendation of De Zerbi. Because if it hasn't, then I'm starting to worry about it a bit. But if it has, then maybe it's okay.
Would their paths have crossed at any point in their career?
Not that I know of. I don't think
he was a player in the Serie A. De Zerbi was.
What, Sebastian Kehl?
No, Sebastian Kehl was in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I'm saying De Zerbi was a player in Serie A. I'm just trying to think if they ever crossed paths as players. Maybe they played together, they know each other or something.
I don't think so. I don't know where they would cross paths.
Where did De Zerbi play?
So De Zerbi played mainly in Italy. In Italy, and then he was at Cluj. Only in Italy, really.
And Kehl was... Yeah, I don't know. maybe it's not about them. Maybe they just know each other professionally somehow.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
Because we did hear that, didn't we?
we heard that. Yeah, we heard that. De Zerbi's going to have a say. They want to give De Zerbi more power. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if De Zerbi's picked him or not. For me, I'm just judging him by what I know from what he's done at Dortmund, and it doesn't seem that impressive.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, let's talk about Luka Vuskovic now, because Florian Plettenberg says that Tottenham are desperate to keep Luka Vuskovic for next season. He is in line for a massive salary increase. However, the market is still being explored and top clubs are interested in him. His future is open. A second loan to Hamburg is currently unlikely, but Pini Zahavi is holding talks with Barcelona about Vuskovic in these past days. I mean, Pini Zahavi, that
Oh, God.
pimping him out to Barcelona. Surely Tottenham aren't too happy about that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not delighted. Obviously, agents, they always got ulterior motives, all these agents. They always want moves to get the more money through the door. Obviously, we still hold the power. Vuskovic has a long contract. He's our player. So he hasn't played one appearance for us. So if we want to keep him, we'll keep him. Even if at the end of the day, Barca can come in, Bayern can come in. The guy is 19. He hasn't started his career, so the thought of him downing tools at this point when you're only 19, would be a ridiculous notion in my opinion. So we hold the power. He's not going to be in a rush, I don't think, at 19 to be going anywhere. He has to play for us first before he can establish himself as a top defender of the Premier League before he's ready for a step up like Bayern or Barca anyway. So I don't think he's going anywhere, in my opinion, like that in the summer. I highly doubt it.
SZY says that Spurs have no interest in selling, and the stance has been made clear to all the interested clubs.
Yeah.
So can Pini Zahavi just take a bit of time out? You don't need to be working on the Luka Vuskovic transfer or speaking to any clubs. Just work on his contract, mate. That's all you need to do. Work on getting him the best deal at Tottenham Hotspur.
Would you rather him or Dragusin's agent?
God. That Dragusin's agent just does not stop piping up.
Constant. But yeah, I think the more and more time goes on, it sounds like more and more that Vuskovic will be here next season.
Seems that way. If Florian Plettenberg saying that it's unlikely that he's going to be back at Hamburg next season, I don't know what Vuskovic actually feels about that. But yeah, I do feel that if we stay in the Premier League, there's no chance he's leaving. If we are relegated, I think, there's a different conversation to be had there. But I'm going to talk assuming that we are staying up.
But I do wonder because obviously it looks like we got a pre-agreement with Senesi, so it looks like that is happening.
Well, we don't know. We're talking about Liverpool hijacks recently.
Yeah, potentially, but at the moment it looks like it's more likely to happen than not. So if that happens, then it's going to be interesting if De Zerbi because he knows Van Hecker. So if De Zerbi's going to go to the club and say, look, I want this guy, go and get him, he would be massive signing for us, then it'll be interesting to see what the club does if they listen to De Zerbi and go, okay, we're going to go for Van Hecker, or they go, look, you got Vuskovic, you're going to have to use him, he's a very good player. Or maybe De Zerbi might look at Vuskovic and say, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to give him the role because he's that good. But because Van Hecker is someone he knows and someone who's proven to be top class in the Premier League, he might think, go get me Van Hecker, and he'll be the guy to take us forward.
Yeah.
And see what we do. I
think there are so many moving parts to this, because you've got the Romero situation, you've got the Van de Ven situation, you've got the Senesi situation, you've got the Van Hecker. There's so many moving parts, isn't there? You've got the Dragusin situation. We don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we can all think in our minds, well, Romero's going to leave, Van de Ven's going to stay, Dragusin's going to leave, but we don't actually know that's how it's going to play out. Like Van de Ven could end up leaving. Romero, the deal might not get done. A bid might not come in that we're willing to sell for. Dragusin, who knows what's going to happen there? So it's so hard to talk about what's going to happen because there are so many moving parts, aren't there?
If Romero and Van de Ven both stay, what do we do with Vuskovic? Because he went on loan because he couldn't see himself getting in ahead of Romero and Van de Ven. So let's say Romero doesn't get his move and neither does Van de Ven. What do we do? At
some point, Vuskovic is going to have to come back and fight for his spot. He can't just come back and, he's a kid at the end of the day. He's a teenager, and I know he's doing very well, and I know he's got amazing bundles of talent. And, some would say, and I've even said it, that he's a generational talent, but he can't just get it handed to him on a plate that he comes here and he's the first choice. He needs to, at some point, he's going to need to come here and fight for his spot. That's the reality. So I would like to see him come back here regardless.
But then what would that mean for someone like Danso? Because if, let's say, Senesi is coming, let's say we have Senesi, Danso, Van de Ven and Romero, then in that scenario, if I'm Vuskovic, I'm going out on loan.
Yeah, potentially. But I think if that happens, I think Vuskovic would be fight his way above Danso in the pecking order. And I think that, there's a case to say what happens with Romero, who knows. But
I'm saying in the scenario Romero stays, I think the likelihood is he's going to leave. And if he leaves, then there's obviously a place there automatically. I'm just saying if Romero doesn't get his move,
anything can happen over the course of the season, and if you're good enough, you'll get enough minutes. In my opinion, we saw it with the likes of Harry Kane when he was at the club. He had 2 strikers ahead of him. He ended the season as first choice striker and the darling of Tottenham Hearts. So if Vuskovic is that good, which we all think he is, then he'll get a hell of a lot of minutes.
Yeah, the worst thing though would be for him to stay and not be first, not be regularly starting, and not. Because I think the more he's playing, the better he's getting. You just need to have him playing every week, regardless. And if that means a loan deal.
But how far do you take that?
Another year until he's ready to be our first choice.
But what if Romero stays past the next year?
If Romero stays, well, then you get rid of Danso.
But I don't think Danso's an issue, because I think Vuskovic will be above Danso in the pecking order. He'll show himself to be that good. So I don't think Danso's an issue. It's going to be an issue for Danso, not for Vuskovic.
Okay, so then you wouldn't have 5. What's the point of keeping Danso around then?
Fine, you can look to sell him at some point. I think Danso will be looked to sold at some point. But you can't. I guess I would bring Vuskovic back regardless, because I think if he's that good, he'll get the game time and he'll put himself above Danso.
I think if we're happy to sell Danso, I'll bring Vuskovic back. But if we want to keep him around and Romero staying and Senesi's there and Van de Ven, I think just loan out Vuskovic again, I would.
I don't think it's an issue having the players. So if Danso doesn't get enough playing time, he doesn't get enough playing time, and then he'll look to leave at some stages. I don't think it's the biggest issue.
It's just I think it's just I don't know. I don't think you need 5.
You don't need 5, but if you end up with 5, it doesn't mean that Vuskovic should get a lack of playing time. If he's that good, he'll get the playing time.
No, if it ends up like that, 100%, but I don't think that's how you plan it.
That's not how you plan it, but sometimes you can't,
We're talking about how to plan.
Yeah, but obviously it doesn't always work out like that, though, does it?
I mean, if it's somehow...
If it was in a European season,
yeah, that's fine.
Then, it'd be different. But now we're in a Premier League season, no European football, we're not held to the numbers. So I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
I'm talking about how should we plan this going into next season? Obviously, if it ends up that we want to keep Vuskovic, we try to sell Romero and it doesn't happen, we just
I'd prefer to keep 5 around.
Of course, I'd prefer it. I'm just talking about how the club would plan it. They're not going to plan to have Romero, Van de Ven, Vuskovic and Senesi and Danso. That won't be the plan.
I think maybe it should be. Because when you're looking at it and the problems that we had over the last 2 years, we should be extra cautious. So we should plan to have 5 centre-backs around and have cover under all circumstances.
I don't think it would be the plan.
I think it should be, though.
Fair enough. I mean, look, in theory, I'd love to have 10 defenders and have every base covered. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. 5 players for 2 positions over the course of, you hope to go deep in the FA Cup, you hope to go deep in the League Cup, you hope to have, obviously you'll have 38 games in the Premier League as well. It's not exactly crazy amount of players. Plenty of clubs have had that many centre-backs on their books.
No, it's different. Let's say you're looking at Arsenal, the difference is all their sub-centre-backs are also full-backs. So if you look at Danso and Senesi, they're just centre-backs. So if we have an injury at left-back, you're not going to see them go there.
You've got Van de Ven, who can play left-back.
Yeah, you got Van de Ven, but obviously we're going to sign a left-back, aren't we? So when you look at Arsenal, all their centre-backs, they always get game time regardless of whether Saliba and Gabriel fit, because there's their rotation in the full-back. So it's very different to what this situation would be, where you have 5 just natural centre-backs, literally.
Look at Manchester United this season. How many centre-backs do they have on their books? Surely they got about 5, maybe even more.
Yoro, De Ligt, Maguire, Martinez.
There was one more in there as well, wasn't there?
Oh, Heaven's a youngster, yeah.
And Heaven as well, who's seen significant game time.
Yeah, he's a youngster.
And they've not had European football, but, you know, because of the situation they're in, all of them have seen game time.
But yeah, but was the plan for Heaven to be seen game time beginning of the season? Probably not. And it's just happened because of injuries. But yeah.
Yeah, but this happens, and this has happened to us more than anyone else over the past 2 or 3 seasons. So I think the plan should be to keep 5 centre-backs around. I really do.
I mean, I'm happy with it. I just don't think it would be.
Anyway, that is your Tottenham update. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Before we get into all the Leeds stuff, Tottenham have sent around an email asking us to vote for our player and goal of the season. And that sparked a bit of debate here off air. Who should be our player of the season? Who should be our player of the season? Let us know in the comment section below. Who do you think should be Tottenham's player of the season this year? Because there is no real standout candidate, let's be honest. I was saying maybe just scrap this whole competition until next season, because who is the standout candidate for player of the season? Last year, Bergvall got it. And let's be real, like, was he even a standout candidate?
Should he even have won it, yeah.
The year before, I think, what was it, Kuti? Did he win it the year before?
The year before was Romero. Or was it Van de Ven?
It might have been Van de Ven. I can't remember who won it the year before.
Tottenham player of the season.
I think it might have been Romero. But, like, who do you guys think should win player of the season this year? It's just like, we're dealing with scraps here.
I think, concept player of the year. Was it Romero or Van de Ven? What is this? Oh, here we go. Yeah, Van de Ven.
Van de Ven, Kane, Son.
Kane, Son, Son, Kane, Son.
Vertonghen, Eriksson, Alderweireld, Kane.
These are the names.
Yeah,
Modric. These are our winners. Then played Bergvall, who only started playing in January. And look, he was good, don't get me wrong, but I think probably Maddison should have won it last year, if I'm being honest.
I probably agree with that.
I think we overlooked him just because of how frustrated we were with his injuries and whatever, but he was probably our best player. So this season, I think I'll probably give it Richarlison, you know, because I think from beginning of the season to now, he's the only one who's consistently kept some sort of level of performance. He's regularly got goal contributions. He's come up in big moments to score. It's not like he's been amazing, don't get me wrong. He's had I would say he's had an average season, but him being average is probably better than most other players in our squad. And he's had 10 Premier League goals, which is decent. He is our top goal scorer. He's got 14 goal contributions in the Premier League. So I think he deserves a bit of credit for it. And when you look at the other players in our squad, no one, I think, has probably had a consistent level of performance to the level he has, I would say.
I think, judging by the chat, there's a few candidates. There's Richarlison, who I kind of agree with you. Maybe it should be Richarlison. He is leading the goal contributions. So he's had 16 in all comps. Javi Simmons has had 11 in all comps. Paulinho has had 10.
Yeah.
Moani is sitting there at 9 alongside Romero.
How many of those in the Champions League? Like probably 8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's had 5 goals and 4 assists.
You can filter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Because you can change.
Oh, yeah. So in the Premier League, he's had 2. So the rest of them in the Champions League. In the Champions League, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists. Moani. Then you got Kudus 8, Van de Ven 8, Porro 7, Solanke 6, Odebear 6, Bergvall 5, Tell 5, Sarr 5, Archie Gray 5. But what people are saying in the chat are Richie, Paulinho, Gray, and Danso between those 4 players, pretty much.
What ridiculousness! Danso, how many games has he actually started?
Not many.
I think in the Premier League he's. You know, I was looking at it the other day. People go on about Romero and his yellow cards. Oh, he's always getting booked. But Danso is nearly as like in terms of goal games per yellow card. Danso is really high as well.
How many sending offs he's had?
He hasn't had any sending offs.
I think that's the main thing people were going on about Romero this season, about the sending offs.
People always say, oh, he's getting booked all the time, but Danso gets booked a hell of a lot. But no, I think he's been pretty
saying
good.
It's got to be Porro for player of the season.
But he hasn't had a great year, has he? For his own standards, he's not been fantastic. like he should. Like how many goal contributions he got? He usually hovers around the 10 mark, but this season is a lot lower, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, it's
Paulinho, I guess.
But Paulinho as well has been in and out of the team all season.
How many starts has he got?
How many starts has Richarlison had?
You're right. I mean, I think he started most games, hasn't he? Over 20. I'm being verified as a human here.
Richarlison starts 26.
26.
Paulinho, this is all comps. Paulinho starts 27. In the Premier League, Richarlison... Where's Richarlison? Yeah, 17 starts in the Premier League.
Wow. 10 goals in 17 starts.
Paulinho's had 20 starts in the Premier League.
Okay, so both started around half the amount.
Danso's had 14 starts in the Premier League.
I mean, Paulinho is worth a shout because I would say he's actually been consistently at a fairly decent level. It's just that his level, sometimes for what we've needed, hasn't been great. But
I would say up until December time, Van de Ven was probably our best player this season.
He was head and shoulders, and then he went for a 3-month period where he was awful. And then
he's actually started our most games in the Premier League He started 32 games in the Premier League, Van de Ven.
So he's only missed because of the red card, probably. Is that the only games he's missed?
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking at...
Conor Gallagher has had more starts than Matisse Tell this season. How mad is that?
That's insane. I think you're probably saying if you're going to who's just been our best performing player, I do think it's probably between Paulinho and Richarlison.
Yeah.
I would probably lean it Richarlison's way.
Yeah, I might agree with that. I might agree. Yeah, let's go Richarlison then. Richarlison player of the season, but I know he's been our top goal contribution, top goal scorer, but he still hasn't been that great though, has he?
I just can't imagine him walking out with that trophy for the season he's had. He's going to be the one who gets it. If Bentancur was showing his form for a few more weeks, he would be in for a shout.
It's been 3 games.
Yeah, I mean it's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
The season we've had.
You might be right.
Spence, no, I don't think he's got a shout. A Doggy, he's been pretty decent when he's played, but he hasn't played that much. I mean, he has played 17 games. I don't think he's been that great, has he, a Doggy?
No, definitely not. I think it's got to be between Paulinho and Richarlison. If Van de Ven didn't have those 3 months off, it would have been him easily. Because actually Van de Ven in the past 3 or 4 games has been fantastic. In the first 3-4 months of the season, he was fantastic. It's just a shame he was so crap for those 3 months.
God. Kinski's probably coming in with a shout now. 4 good games and that's enough.
People saying Kudus.
I mean, Kudus, I guess, but he hasn't played since December.
I know.
So, I mean, how many games did he actually start? He did start 19, so he played half a season. To be fair, that's more starts than Richarlison.
That's mad, isn't it? Kudus more starts than Richarlison.
Oh, no, is that more? Yeah, 19. Richarlison, 17. But in terms of matches played, Kudus is 20... No, Kudus is 19 and Richarlison is... Hey, where is Richarlison? He's 29. So he's played 10 more games.
Like usually though, every year there's like a standout candidate, isn't there? And
in terms of minutes
just
played,
no
Richarlison's only 200 minutes more.
Yeah.
That's 2 games.
That's mad.
He's only played 2 games more. Yeah, so Kudus has had 17 90s. Richarlison's had 19 90s. So you could, I guess, if you're giving it to Richarlison, you could give it to Kudus, given the minutes played.
In terms of actual impact, though, with goal contributions, Richarlison smashes him.
Yeah.
Kudus is what? How many goal contributions?
7 goal contributions.
Yeah.
In terms of minutes per goal contribution, it's Richarlison is way out in front, 0.74. It's nearly a goal contribution a game. Nearly.
Yeah, look, I think just because it's been such a shit season and because everyone's been crap, you just got to go with the goal contributions, I guess. Like, what other metric is there to judge how good a player is? Because everyone's been crap, really.
Zahavi actually has a similar goal contribution rate to Kudus. He gets a goal contribution every 0.36, and Kudus is 0.4. So they're very. I guess if you're putting Kudus in there, you could put Xavi in there. But
I was saying maybe Maddison should get our player of the season just because he hasn't played, you know.
Give it
At least he hasn't had a bad game.
Give it Maddison. Give it Kulusevski.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, so let's do a poll. Player of the season. Those 4 options. Player of the season. Richie, Palhinha. Well, the options Kudus.
No, not Kudus.
Gray.
And Danso. Yeah, so get voting, and after we talk about goal of the season, we'll look back at it. But in terms of goal of the season, now we're talking, because we've scored some fantastic goals this season. If you just look at these goal clips and give you no context to the season, you'd think you're watching the best team in the world.
Won the league,
seriously. Like, what an unbelievable goal catalogue we've actually got this year. So you got Richarlison's first day of the season against Burnley, that bicycle scissor kick. You got Bergval's against West Ham, which was like 4th game of the season, 5th game of the season, something like that. You got Mickey van der Ven against Copenhagen, which surely has got to be up for Puskas. You got Richarlison's halfway line goal against Arsenal. You got Xavi's brilliant goal against Brentford. João Palhinha against Bournemouth, another acrobatic one. Romero against Newcastle, which was again another scissor kick, wasn't it? Romero's against Newcastle.
Yeah, he didn't catch it great, but he just stumbled into the net.
You got Solanke's scorpion kick against Manchester City. You got Xavi's brilliant Sonny-esque goal against Brighton, and then you got Conor Gallagher's goal last week against Aston Villa, 30 yards out. So there are so many standouts there, isn't it?
And usually for goal of the season, when you look at like Puskas, they usually go for a lot of the unique ones. So I think Van de Ven will be nominated for a Puskas, and I think Solanke has a chance of being nominated for a Puskas. We could have 2 Puskas nominees there. So I think those are the 2 outstanding ones. I think the other ones are great as well. I think in another year, a lot of them are worthy winners.
Halfway line goal against Arsenal.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, that was great. Even Simmons against Brentford, he ran from the halfway line, didn't he? Beat 2 players and scored. That goal against Brighton would have been goal of the season in other years. The goal. We've had how many acrobatic ones? We've had Richarlison acrobatic, Palhinha acrobatic, Romero acrobatic, Solanke acrobatic. So I think for me, my favourite one, the one I like to rewatch the most is probably Van der Ven's. I think that's probably the one that's so unique. When he picked up from inside his own box, runs through the whole Copenhagen team, and with a finish like a striker as well.
You say it's unique, but we've seen an actual carbon copy of that goal at Spurs at that stadium before.
We have.
Literally the same goal.
But that's from a centre-back, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is, someone was from a striker, this is from a centre-back.
Yeah.
So it's unique in terms of it's
I
very
like
rare.
Solanke's, the scorpion kick.
I think if Donnarumma doesn't get a touch on it, I'd go for Solanke's. But I think that touch just makes it aesthetically less pleasing for me.
The thing is, right, if Richarlison's didn't come in a 4-1 loss against Arsenal, that would have been in a shout. Like, if that was a winning goal...
Didn't stop Lamella's winning
goal
of the season.
But we didn't get absolutely battered in that game. Seriously, if Richarlison's came in a win at the Emirates, surely that's winning it.
Oh, of course. If we get anything out of the Arsenal game, maybe Rishi's, because that's like a David Bentley from the halfway line goal. And I'm sure that probably won our goal of the season that year. I am going to say... Someone even says Vuskovic scorpion kick for Hamburg.
Yeah, we could put that in there as well.
I'm going to go Van der Ven. That's my favourite.
Van der Ven. It's a hard one to pick because there are so many top goals there. What are you guys saying in the comment section? Whose was your favourite goal, and who do you think is going to win it? Who's going to win this goal of the season award? I think I'm going to go for Solanke. I'm going to go for Solanke. Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. In terms of a lot of people saying Solanke, in terms of player of the season, Richarlison is on 38%, Palhinha 34%, Gray on 21%.
Danso 8%.
Yeah.
So Richie out in front at the moment. Only 118 votes though. So come on, get voting. Get voting. Brian Daigle says Divine versus Derby.
Of course he would. Of course he would. Surely Mikey Moore has got a goal to go in there for Rangers.
Put on Mr. Daigle, play Paulinho.
All right, cool. So, yeah, Richarlison's winning it. He's out in front now, 39%. So I think.
And what about is there not a young player this season nomination?
They're all young.
Yeah, true, but
no, it's not. It's just player of the season and goal of the season. That's all it is.
Okay.
So there you have it. So we're going for Richarlison player of the season, and some are saying maybe do a poll now, Van de Ven or Solanke goal of the season, because I think those are the two main ones that people are going for. Maybe you can put in Richie against Arsenal in there as well. Then we'll see who wins this. I've got a feeling Solanke might win it, but maybe Van de Ven. Daigle says young player of the year is Archie Gray, and it's not even close. Yeah, I'd agree with that, because the four that we've shortlisted for player of the year, Archie Gray is the only one that actually qualifies for young player of the year. So surely Archie Gray should win the young player of the year. I agree with that. So Richarlison has won the player of the season 40%. Paulinho second in 33%. Gray third in 20%. Danso fourth in 7%. In terms of the goal of the season, we've given you 4 to choose from: Solanke versus Man City, Van de Ven versus Copenhagen, Richarlison against Arsenal, and Xavi versus Brighton. At the moment, Van de Ven is way out in front, 53%, with Solanke in second, Richarlison in third, and Xavi in fourth. Yeah, so get voting. I'm interested to see what you guys think.
50% so far, saying Van de Ven. There's still only 50 votes. It's getting closer now.
We'll get to 100 votes and we'll move on. So we're on 66 votes.
Philip Pradef says, love the content from Canada. One second, let me just... where has it gone? Love the content from Canada. Your stream is... and so your streams are always part of my morning routine. Come on, your Spurs. And
big up to you. 82 votes. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's beating Van de Ven. So I think Van de Ven will win the goal of the season. Let's see how the voting on We Are Tottenham TV actually translates to the voting by the fans on the last game of the season, which will all be revealed when are Spurs actually going to do a lap of honour this year, man? Surely not.
Of course they will. What do you think? The fans would say it's a disgrace if they don't.
Yeah, it's true. It's also a disgrace if they do.
Yeah, it's a disgrace if they do. And I remember, when was it against? There was a game. I think it was after. I think it was during COVID, but it was like under Mourinho or under Mason. And the season Mourinho got sacked. I think Villa at home. It was the last home game of the season. We lost, and the players went in and didn't come back out for a lap of honour. And there was a big hullabaloo about it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember. I think you were there. Were you there?
I must have been. I mean...
No, because that season, they weren't fans in stadiums. But I think for the last few, there was like a few. I remember George Achillia being there. I remember his video about it. They were saying like, oh, they said they were going to come out and they made everyone wait for like an hour. And like they never came out.
I don't really remember that.
Yeah. There was a bit, they were saying, oh, it's a disgrace, cowards, all this kind of stuff. And that was for finishing 8th.
God. What if we actually go down that day?
Oh my God, no, there won't be a lap of honour. Well, maybe they will actually. Even if we go down.
In the 70s when we got relegated,
yeah,
I remember I've seen the videos of it, of the players going around the pitch after the game and a big banner that they were holding up, or some fans were holding up on the pitch saying, "We will return." I wonder if they recreate that.
Will be I would say a pitch invasion, but it'll be a pitch riot, I think, if we go down, maybe.
So look, Van de Ven looks like has won the goal of the season award, 52%, by quite some distance, to be honest, because Solanke's 27%, Richarlison 11%, Xavi 10%, 117 votes. And the player of the season was 144 votes, 40% to Richarlison, 33% Paulinho, 20% Gray, and 7% Danso. So let's see how accurate that will actually be on the last game of the season. Let's move on. And it is Tottenham against Leeds. Pivotal game. We'll know how the land lies at kickoff because Arsenal play West Ham on Sunday. But we're going to start off with our predicted lineup. Yeah, so let's get into the team news.
So for the team news, well, it says Richarlison injured. We don't know that for sure. It says on the graphic, but he's not been pictured in training, so we'll have to wait to hear what's happened there with Richarlison. Let's hope he's not injured. We know that Solanke is in a race to be fit for this game, but more likely to be fit for Stamford Bridge. Sarr is back, I think. Sarr's back. He was pictured in training, so I think he's going to be available for this one. We know Zahavi is out for the rest of the season with his ACL. Vicario has not yet returned. He's not available for this one. Odegaard, Davis, Kudus, Kulusevski all out for the season. Maybe this could be the week Maddison makes his return. We'll have to wait and see. Bentancur, fears of him picking up an injury are subsided. He confirms he was just tired, so he's going to be all right for this game. But that's it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with Richarlison because Zahavi did say in the press conference that nobody's picked up fresh injuries.
Yeah.
Unless it's happened after the press conference. So we don't know.
It might have been, but the training's usually done after the press conference. Is usually done after training, and that training was from yesterday.
Yeah.
So he's not injured. I don't know. I don't think he should be on the graphics injured, but he might be injured.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, so he is injured. We have heard he's injured.
Have we?
He said Football London says he's injured.
Really?
Injury unknown.
So he's injured or not? I haven't seen anything.
Chat? What's going on here? Chat, tell me. Is Richarlison injured? Has anyone heard in the chat?
Is Richarlison injured? I mean, I saw an update saying wasn't seen in training, but haven't seen any credible sources actually say he's injured. Yeah, Prem injuries are saying he's past fit.
Okay, interesting.
I think we assume he's fit.
Yeah, we're going to assume he's fit. But I don't like the fact that he might be injured. All right.
All right, well, let's get into it. 4-3-3, as per usual. In goal, we know it's going to be Antonin Kinski. Vicario, I think we've seen the last of him in the sweatshirt, to be honest. Something very suspicious about the way he's coming back from his hernia. He was supposed to be back the Brighton game, and he's not even back in training yet. So I don't know what's going on there, but we know Kinski's been very good, and he's going to start.
Yeah, I do wonder whether, given the double thing of Kinski's form, his potential pre-agreement with Inter Milan, has there been a decision to be made, okay, we're just going to go with Kinski and Vicario's going to be out of the squad now, because maybe it becomes more of a story of Vicario's on the bench, potentially. I don't know if there's something to that, or maybe he genuinely is just still injured and not fit enough to play. But look, at the end of the day, Kinski has been doing really well. I think everyone's behind him at the moment. He's been absolutely fantastic since he's come back in the team. Hasn't made a bad step. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he might get a bit more tested in this game than he has done in previous with the form that Leeds are on. Right back, Pedro Porro. Again, I think in the last game he was fantastic, wasn't he? Against Aston Villa. He just had that, I don't know what it was. He just had that bit between his teeth against Aston Villa. He showed that real aggressive edge, and that defensive performance from him was just completely flawless. But we're going to need him in the offensive side of things as well. Yeah,
I think definitely did a really good job helping out Moani. Now, Leeds do play with wing-backs, so how that affects his role, I'm sure De Zerbi will have a big role to play in adjusting little things tactically. But I think Porro did really well last week, supporting Moani and just defensively dealing with Rodgers, and he's going to have to be at his best again.
Yeah. Right centre back will be Kevin Danso. Obviously, Romero's out injured for the rest of the season, so Danso stepped in. And look, it's not been without mistake. Obviously, we know that mistake last time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. which was, a detrimental one. But I think by and large he's been all right.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good. I think he's made a mistake in each game, but I think at the end of the day, he's come in and done well, and I think he's stepped in credibly, and I think they're going to try and aim for Calvert-Lewin, and I think Danso's going to be the one to try and make sure he's bullying him, and I think that's one thing he's done very good. Crosses in the box, he's dealt with them fantastically, and blocking shots and things like that. He's done a very good job doing those kind of things.
Yeah. Left centre-back, captain Mickey van der Ven. As mentioned before, different air about Mickey van der Ven since De Zerbi's come in. We've heard that potentially he might be open to signing a new contract now De Zerbi's here, and he's definitely playing that way as well.
Yeah, we're just going to have to make sure we stay up, and then we've got a fighting chance of keeping him, but he's definitely playing like a new motivation about him. There's renewed belief within him about how we're playing. I think that's the main thing. I think he had lost belief, and he had kind of lost his way, and I think this is the Van der Ven we know and love over the last few games.
Yeah. And then to make up that back four, I assume it's going to be Destiny Udogie, but there is a case for Jed Spence. But yeah, I mean, there is, just because of Udogie's injury problems. But I assume it will be Destiny.
Yeah, he did play 90 minutes, so we've got to be careful with him, don't we? But I don't think we're not going to play him. I think he's too important. One thing I've noticed that in the kind of inversion of Udogie at times is back, it seems, and he seems to be at times playing as a striker, if you notice. Now I noticed this against Sunderland when in that moment where he got fouled on the edge of the area and he should have threw on goal. But I remember De Zerbi called him over to the side. He whispered something in his ear, like gave him some instruction, and then he literally a few seconds later he made that run, which he was through on goal on, and we should have got a free kick for that, and obviously it was causing problems. Now he did the same thing against Villa, made that run from out to in, and was nearly found, I think, the ball from, I think it was Paulina, just in front of him. So clearly he's been told to make those runs on occasion and ask different questions at the back line, and I think those kind of things Leeds could struggle with, because they're going to be very settled, and we're going to have to disrupt them somehow. So I think those kind of runs will be helpful.
And you know what? I liked Jed Spence's cameo as well, coming on at right wing. I thought he looked pretty dangerous when he came on. So I like that kind of thing, that we can use Jed Spence maybe as a right winger later in the game, because the pace that he's got against tiring legs, I think it's a great tool to have. So that's the back four that we're going to go for. No surprises there. Moving into the midfield, the first midfield that we will talk about is Rodrigo Bentancur. Fantastic, obviously, since coming back from his injury. And look, I think in an ideal world, coming back from such a long injury, you don't want to use him as much as we have, but we have to at the moment, and he's playing very well.
Yeah, to be fair, I think in some games, I think for the Sunderland game and the Villa game, he only played an hour, didn't he? So, not the Sunderland game, the Brighton game. The Brighton game and the Villa game, he only played an hour. So, he hasn't been playing 90 all the time, but yeah, he's obviously come in and just automatically become our most important midfielder immediately. And I think in this game against Leeds, they play like a 5-3-2 system. And so there's a lot of focus on that midfield to be very energetic. So if we can bully them in that midfield, cut off the supply to the front too, I think that could be very, very crucial. And I think Bentancur is going to have a crucial role to play in this one.
Yeah. So now alongside him, it's going to be, look, you've got Archie, you've got Lucas, you've got Pape, you've got so many options. You've got Paulinho, you've got Bissouma. I think it will be João Paulinho, because João Paulinho was just so pivotal in that game against, in the last game against Aston Villa, and obviously scored the winner against Wolves. So in the last two games, he's been so important. Bissouma was the favoured one before the game against Villa, but I think Paulinho, it's got to be Paulinho for me.
It will be, and I think he obviously earned his start with the goal against Wolves, and then came in and grabbed that opportunity with both hands. De Zerbi's been talking him up so much over the past couple games, saying how much he loves him after the Villa game, and then now saying 100% he wants to keep him around. So I think you can't take him out the team when he's got a bit of momentum behind him. I do feel like this kind of game might be a bit more difficult for him per se, because I think Leeds might get closer to him than the Villa players did, so he might have less time on the ball. So you might have to adjust a few things, but I think
that rotation switch between him and Porro will be vital in this game.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think him from set pieces, we know he's obviously a massive threat, and actually had a long shot against Villa as well, which nearly went in.
Hit the post, yeah.
So yeah, I think he's going to be crucial. I do have a feeling he might be the first midfielder removed if we're not winning in this one, but I think he'll get the start.
Yeah. And then to make up that three-man midfield will be Conor Gallagher. Best performance in the Spurs shirt last time out against Aston Villa. And if he can bring that into this game, such a vital player to have.
Yeah, I think the amount of running he put through was immense. And with the fact that Leeds play a back three, you know, a lot of the reason why teams play a back three is to give themselves more option and build up so that they have more time in the ball. So I think Gallagher, Zahavi said when he's in the form he was against Villa, he's like having an extra player. He's going to need to be like that in the build up to put that Leeds back line under as much pressure as possible.
Because I think we're coming up against a team who do the most running in the league in Leeds. So, you know, we're going to have to combat that with even more running. And Conor Gallagher is definitely a player who can do that. Left-hand side of the attack, I think Matisse Tell. I think he had a very good performance against Aston Villa. And let's hope he can provide more of a goal threat this time.
Yeah, and he's not going to be up against... Well, he's going to be up against Bogle, I think it is. Up against Matt Cash last time, had some pretty good joy against him. And obviously up against a back five now, so that means potentially up against a wing-back and then a covering centre-back behind him as well. So that can make things a bit more difficult. But if Zahavi's smart enough with his rotations, if he can isolate that one of those players, I think I can see him getting more joy in this game than even he did against Villa. And I think, obviously, the Leeds game, he got his first goal of the season in that game earlier in the season, didn't he? Playing up front, it was.
Yeah. So, right-hand side, I think I sat here in this chair last week and I said, anyone but Mawani. Anyone but Mawani. Let's shoehorn Bergvall on the wing just so we can't play Mawani. But I think what he showed against Aston Villa... Look, I don't think it was the best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but he definitely contributed to that win. And I think he was hard to handle at times. So I think he's earned his spot for this game. So Mawani on the right.
Anyone but Mawani to only Mawani. Only Mawani we can play. Now I'm joking.
It's true, though.
Yeah, it's true. I think, he has to play. I think he's the only one who can maybe stretch a backline with his pace. I think he's the only one we have. So I know he's not been great.
Well, Tell can.
Tell, I don't think he's as fast as Mawani.
He's still fast, though. He can still stretch a backline.
Yeah, but I feel like Mawani... Yeah, mate, you're right. I think Mawani's the one who gets in behind more times, though. Tell kind of likes to be on the ball a bit more. I feel like Mawani likes to get in behind like that.
He does.
So, it gives us like a bit of a dual threat, different kind of threats. Just read that Goodmanson is injured, so not going to have their first choice left back there. So hopefully Mawani can get at them again like he did Maatsen.
And then up front, Richarlison, if he's not injured. There are rumours floating around. He wasn't seen in the training footage, but we haven't heard he's injured, so can't assume. So we're going to say Richarlison.
We are going to say Richarlison. He's our top goal scorer, and he's one where I think he just pops up, doesn't he? And as much as sometimes he can be out of the game for long periods, if we keep giving him supply, he will pop up with a chance for a goal potentially. And I thought he was brilliant against Aston Villa. Well, at times he was brilliant, especially in the first half. I would say, he was brilliant with his pressing. That's what I meant. Brilliant with his pressing. Worked so hard. And obviously he got his goal. If he is out, what would we do if in the event that he is injured?
Bergvall. I think that's the only option we got.
Bergvall,
put Tell up front, or Mawani up front, put one of them up front and put Bergvall in.
Well, given what he did against Villa, would it be potentially Tell down the middle, Mawani off the left and Spence on the right?
Could very well be that, to be fair. And to be honest, I think I prefer that. I think I prefer that.
I think he might do that because I think he wants that pace. I think he wants that pace in the.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I do agree with that. Look, let's talk about James Maddison quickly because he's been pictured in training looking absolutely fantastic. I mean, he looks ready, doesn't he?
He does, and that's what Zahavi's been saying. I'm looking at him; he's brilliant, and he seems physically ready. He's just maybe not ready with that rhythm, intent, and intensity. But let's hope this is the weekend, or the game, I should say, that we can finally get to see him because he's going to be such an important player once he's back ready. I don't expect, obviously, him to be back to his best by any stretch, but if you can imagine him coming back into the team and then coming on, great reception, and imagine he does have an impact. The confidence that will give him that he can definitely go like straight away, because I think the biggest thing when you come back from an injury like that is psychological. Like, do you doubt yourself? Am I ready? Am I back to my best? Like, can I like take people on like I used to? Can I make those passes? And if he comes on and has that immediate confidence boost, that could be massive for him.
I think he will come on. I really believe that we're going to see him on Monday night, and it's going to be a great moment to see him back on that football pitch. But look, that is the lineup that we're going for Monday night under the lights against Leeds. Kinski in goal, Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Danso and Mickey van der Ven at centre back, João Palhinha, Bergvall and Conor Gallagher in the midfield, Richarlison up top, Moani on the right, and Tell against left. And that's unchanged, isn't it? That's completely unchanged
yeah.
from Aston Villa.
And yeah, he was asked about him in the press conference about changes and stuff, which is, constantly said. He said, look, I'm going to change a few things like structurally, but in terms of basic information, it's all going to remain the same. I'm not changing too much. And I think we've got something that worked against Villa, so I don't think he's going to want to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know what you think of that lineup. Do you think it will be unchanged from the Aston Villa side going into this pivotal game against Leeds? And let us know your score predictions as well. Both of us, I think, have both gone for 2-1 to Spurs. So let's hope that we can get the 3 points this weekend. Is so vital, isn't it? It's so vital. But let's get into it. Let's get straight into the match preview. We'll bring up the form table because the form is not what we want to look at right now, to be honest. But we will look at it because Leeds are banging form. I think in the last 5 games, only one team in the league has picked up more points than Leeds, and that is Nottingham Forest. Leeds have picked up 11 points. Nottingham Forest have picked up 13 points. They've scored 10 goals. Conceded more than us, though. Conceded 5. I thought they had a better defensive record than us.
I guess not. I guess
because we've got the better defensive record.
Well, maybe that's including the FA Cup. So. That's
I see. I see. Okay, fine. And we've scored 5. But look, Leeds. Do you think how much of an impact do you think it has? The bearing of the result on Sunday night, Arsenal against West Ham, in terms of Leeds' application coming into the game?
I think it matters more for us than it does for them, in my opinion. I think their application is going to be spot on. I don't think it's going to change anything for them. Whether West Ham win or lose, I don't think it changes much for Leeds. Leeds are going to be on their game. I think they're going to be on it. They've got momentum.
Like if West Ham do lose, though, they are mathematically safe.
I understand that, but I still don't think it changes anything. I think they're going to be the same team. They're going to approach it in the same way. They've got a good momentum going. They've kind of got a good thing going. So I don't think like the messaging from Farke is going to be any different, whether they win or whether West Ham win or lose, or they've got the chance of being dragged back into it. I'm just reading Noah Okafor's out. So that's a massive injury for them.
So they've got Goodmanson, Okafor and Gruev out, and Pascal Strike is having a late fitness test.
Well, Okafor's been in banging form, so him being injured, obviously probably Brendan Aronson comes in, but he's been nowhere near as good as Okafor.
To be fair, there was a period in the season when Brendan Aronson was doing very well, wasn't there?
He was doing well, but nowhere near as good as what Okafor's doing now. I think it makes a big difference having those two. I think Aronson's still decent, to be fair. He's not like a terrible player, but he hasn't made the impact Okafor's made, I don't think. So I think that's obviously a massive miss. I don't think it changes how they play necessarily, because I think Okafor and Aronson can do similar jobs, both quite quick, both can get in behind, both like to link with Calvert-Lewin. I just think it makes a difference with the quality at the end of it. So I'm not expecting a different Leeds now that Okafor.
They've got the exact same goal contributions this year, Okafor and Brendan Aronson.
Do they?
Which is interesting. Yeah, both got 9 goal contributions.
Yeah, but how many goals does Aronson have?
Aronson's got 4 goals and 5 assists. Okafor's got 8 goals.
In the Premier League?
Yeah. And Okafor has got 8 goals and 1 assist.
Right, so yeah, Okafor's much more of a goal scorer. He's got that quality in front of goal.
Yeah, but still, the impact in terms of goal contributions is exactly the same.
That's mad. I didn't realise Aronson had so many. Fair enough, but I still think Okafor adds that little bit more quality in front of goal. I think he's not been in that great form, Aronson, as well.
No, he hasn't in recent times. But I remember there was one stage of the season where he was pulling through goal contributions like every week, and it feels like in that period is very similar to like Okafor's period right now.
Yeah, as I said, I don't think it changes the way they play, because I think they fulfill a similar role. They're just two slightly different players, but they do a similar job. So it is big that Okafor's out, because I think when you've got to play on that kind of form that he has, it's like you're riding a wave, aren't you? Momentum and confidence. So him being out is big, and Aronson coming in. I remember he missed a big chance in the semi-final, didn't he? And he hasn't quite been on the same form and confidence he's in. But I don't think we're going to see a different Leeds per se, just because Okafor is out. And they're a team that, as we've seen, that they clearly play on confidence a lot of themselves. They've been flying out from start of games, really putting pressure, running themselves into the ground in these like first 20, 30 minutes of games. And then it seems as though they get a lead and then kind of just manage the game, sit off a bit, and then they give a bit of encouragement to the opposition. But I wonder if we'll be waiting for them, because we do this, press baiting kind of thing, where we're very focused on build up and how quickly we can play it. And I think if Leeds come at us, I do feel like De Zerbi will be waiting, setting traps for them.
Yeah, I mean, if this game was not under De Zerbi, I'd be very worried. Like, if we were playing this Leeds side under Tudor when we're conceding 3-4 goals a game, I'll be like, oh my God, we're getting battered here. But under De Zerbi so far, we're not giving up that many chances. We're not conceding that many goals. I know we conceded 2 against Brighton, but we still in that game didn't concede that many chances, and we were talking about a banging form Brighton side as well. So, look, I'm very wary of the threats that Leeds pose, but I do think it's threats that we can deal with. I think Van de Ven, the way he's playing, Danso as well. You've got, we've got good players, and we've got good players screening that back four as well. So there's no reason why we should be fearful or think we can't go and take anything from this game.
Yeah, we're got to be confident after winning that game against Villa, and having turned things around results-wise, and now we know that the fate is in our own hands. I think we have to go into this game with confidence, knowing that at the end of the day, as much as Leeds do have good players, and you can't take it for granted, we know if we are at our best, we should believe we've got the better team, and that is the belief we should go into this game. That if we can play the way we know we can play, with the players that we have available, we can take the game to them and we can outplay them. That's the mentality we should have, and we shouldn't come into this game scared, regardless of what West Ham do. You've got to come into this game with confidence that you can win the game and beat Leeds, not just win the game out of boredom, as Danny Flange would say.
100%. Big up to Carefree Lewis, by the way. He's
chat.
World Champions Raid. Big up Sim and big up the chat. He must have just finished his live stream. We'll see you next week, mate. We'll see you next week.
I'm not
and
sure
we'll see what happens there. Oh, what is going on at your club, mate? But look, we'll talk about it more next week, my friend. But look, we just have to win. No questions asked. No negotiables. Get the 3 points in this game. It doesn't even matter what happens on Monday night. If
Fair enough. I feel like it's time to realise that Chelsea are just good. It's time to realise, it's time to recognise Chelsea are just
that
a
was
good team.
Enzo Maresca days, man. That was Enzo Maresca. God, Chelsea are cooked, man.
They're so cooked. They're so chopped.
We shouldn't speak too soon because
right.
we never know what happens. We know what happens at Stamford Bridge, but maybe it's a change. Maybe it's a change, but we'll talk about that after this is all said and done. But look, it shouldn't matter what happens on Sunday night, on Sunday evening,
of course,
at West Ham. We should just stick to what we need to do. You know what I mean? But there is that element of that game, and it is the worst game in history. Literally, this has got to go down. This West Ham Arsenal game has got to go down as the worst bloody game in history, because I cannot for the life of me sit here and say I want Arsenal to win that game. I cannot do it. I cannot do it, and I will not do it.
It's a weird one, not weird one, because we know that we just hate both sides, but would you be happier if West Ham won or if Arsenal won?
I don't know, man.
That will give you more joy.
I don't think everyone, I'm hearing from a lot of people this is a win-win situation. I think it's a lose-lose situation.
Both. It's a win-win. You can't win and you can't lose.
I know, but I'm looking at it so much more negatively than positively. Like, if we do our business for the rest of the season, then it doesn't matter what happens on that pitch in terms of West Ham. So let's stop Arsenal winning the league, man. Like,
So you'll give you more joy to see West Ham win than Arsenal winning.
draw.
What will give you more joy though out of the win? If one of them had to win, you have to push Brudden or that everyone dies.
Oh,
in the
they're
world.
your bloody
Yeah,
buttons,
big
mate.
one.
But none of them, neither will give me joy.
You have to pick one though.
But none of them will give me joy. Joy is the wrong word. Like, I wouldn't see joy.
Well, which one do you hate the least? Arsenal winning or West Ham winning?
Look, the reality is we do need to concentrate on ourselves, but I would never take any sort of joy or anything from Arsenal winning a game ever in my life. So
you'd hate it less if Arsenal won than West Ham won.
I don't know, man.
You have to pick a button. You have to choose one, or the whole world gets exploded.
I refuse to say Arsenal win, so I'll say West Ham lose.
West Ham lose.
Not Arsenal win. Anything but an Arsenal
You know
win.
what?
West Ham to lose.
I might pick West Ham to win.
West Ham to win. Well, you want to go?
Focus on ourselves.
It's true, but what if we
Focus.
don't do the business?
We'll do it. I'm confident we'll do the business. Obviously, if we don't do the business, it's a problem. But I'm just saying, if you're asking me before Monday, do I back Tottenham to get the business done? I back Tottenham to get the business done. So West Ham can have a victory because you're getting back in the relegation on a Monday anyway. Get that title in City's hands right now.
We need it, man.
Get it in City's
Like,
hands.
seriously, with Arsenal going, like, got one hand on the title and in the Champions League final.
No.
Oh
Get
my
that-
God,
get
this
that
can't be
title in
happening.
City's hands.
This can't be happening.
Get that title in City's hands immediately.
I do got a feeling West Ham are going to get something from the game, though. In the
Obviously,
Prem, I predicted
draw's
1-1.
perfect. Draw's kind of perfect.
A draw's good. It gives Man City a little bit of hope, but I still think a draw, Arsenal still win the league.
Yeah, but at least gives our City a chance.
Yeah.
You know, whereas so you can still if it's a draw, it takes us to the final day, and you know it's going to be a straight.
And also
shootout.
a draw, we're still outside the relegation zone before kick-off.
Exactly. So I think obviously a draw would be a good result. Like I think you sit here and you take a draw.
A draw's the result I want. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So there is a result that comes up that you leave and you're relatively happy with.
Yeah.
So
And by the way, we will be doing a watch along for that game, and that is going to be the most painful watch along in the history of We Are Tottenham
fuming with any
TV.
goal.
Literally.
Goes in and just fuming.
And you lot are going to be, not you lot in the live chat right now, but there's going to be a certain lot that is going to be tuning in, hoping we cheer Arsenal goals. That ain't going to be happening, people. I'll tell you that for free. But, God.
I'm more likely to celebrate a West Ham win than an Arsenal win, that's for sure.
People are saying this is what we get for wanting Spurs to lose against Man City.
Every year it's happening to us now. We have these.
But this is
games
the
crop
worst
up.
of the lot, man. Arsenal win the title and Spurs get relegated.
Is it?
This is the jeopardy
Well,
that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, but the game last time was literally Spurs losing. So
Yeah.
it was a bit different. This one at least is someone else. Like we're cheering on a different game. So cheering on your own team to lose was something I never want to do again. I never want to experience that. I think that was slightly worse.
Imagine the prospect of some Spurs fans wanting Arsenal to win, and then it's not even a guarantee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we don't go down if Arsenal win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how could you want Arsenal to win when it's not even like a guarantee?
I can't
What
bring
happens if
myself-
you want Arsenal to win, then we go down anyway?
I can't bring myself to want Arsenal to win.
No,
Can't
me
do it.
neither, man.
West Ham or draw all day.
Draw.
All day.
I don't want West Ham to win either. I want draw.
No, I don't want West Ham to win, but I'm saying if it's a West Ham win or a draw, I'm much happier than if Arsenal win. I can't have Arsenal winning. Just can't. We'll get the business done on Monday. I'm sure of it.
Oh, you know what I want? I want to get hantavirus or something, mate. Let's get the pandemic in. Let's stop football right now. Let's just stop it right now before anything is finished. That's what I say. Forget all this.
Oh.
This is just horrible, man. Jesus Christ. But
This
look,
club does to us. The positions it puts us in.
at least it's in our hands right now. At least it's in our hands. And we need to just do our business. And we do our job. Look, if Arsenal win the league, there's nothing we can do about it right now. We just need to concentrate on ourselves. That's the reality.
Well, if they win, then that's the way we got to look at it. If they win, then we can look at if we win on Monday, 4 points clear with 2 games to go.
Yeah.
So look, every result has its good outcomes. Everyone has its bad outcomes as well.
Yeah.
Apart from a draw. Draw pretty much is all good, I would say. More good than bad.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think there's a good chance of a draw in that game. I really do.
God.
Just silent thinking about it, man. It's just a horrible thought. I'm actually like dreading Sunday so much.
I know. Wish it's over already. Wish it could be over already.
God. Have you ever dreaded a non-Spurs game more than this?
Never.
Like, seriously.
Apart from maybe the only other one that compares was that Champions League final.
Well, Arsenal's won.
No, not that one. Well, that one as well, but when Chelsea were in it and they had to win it. Oh, I hated that game. I actually hated that game.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to do our job. Got to do our business. We should go into it with confidence. The last time we played a team on as much of form as Leeds was Brighton. We gave a good account of ourselves. Should have won that game.
Isn't it? Under De Zerbi, 4 games, 3 away from home.
Yeah.
So this is only a second home game, and we've done all right now in the other one. So
Yeah.
I think De Zerbi's going to get his first home win. I don't think we're going to end the season without a De Zerbi home win.
Yeah. And, another one could come at the last game of the season as well. So I think it's mad, isn't it? It's just what that Wolves win did to us. And such a horrible display, but we got that win. But it's kicked us on. And, that's what we kept saying. We just need that win no matter how it comes, and we can build a bit of momentum. And now we've got that momentum, and we need to make use out of it.
We're going 5 for 5, people. Manifest it. We are going 5 for 5. I've never believed anything more, apart from winning a trophy in our second season. That's the only other thing. We're going 5 for 5. De Zerbi's got it locked. I'm telling you.
All right.
Completely dismissing Brentford versus City. You're right. If Brentford
It's Brentford City first. That's the first game. That's
so
Saturday,
if Brentford do get something out of it, then you got to say I don't care if Arsenal win at that point.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. That is completely true. Not even thinking about that game.
Yeah, if Brentford
When
gets
is that
something,
game?
It's on. I think it's 2:00 on Sunday.
Oh, is it
just
2
before.
o'clock Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Brentford get anything out of that game, then Arsenal, I might as well want Arsenal to win.
I still won't want Arsenal to win. But yeah, look, big up, people. That is it from us today. We'll see you all on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. Come and make it a bit more bearable for us, man. Just come and make it a bit more bearable for us. It's going to be an awful day. West Ham against Arsenal. And then it's the big one on Monday night. So we'll see you all there. We're both going to the game, actually. It's Barry and Iggy in the studio for you guys Monday night. But we'll see you there, people. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.